Dr. Christy Ennis. Today's video is for you if you need to work on the strength in this area. So great if you've got arthritis or have had carpal tunnel, anything that's affected this area, you're gonna feel better after this. All right, we are starting with the easiest and they get a little bit more difficult as we go. First one is just taking that hand and squeezing it together. So you're making a fist, you can hold it for a few seconds and then let it go. If you wanna make this one harder, if you have a towel or a pillow that's soft, right, to start, you can start with squeezing that. To make it a little bit more difficult, if you get kind of a squishy ball that's a little bit deflated, you can go ahead and squeeze that. And then even harder still would be using a tennis ball to squeeze. And you want to do this for about 30 seconds if you can. Next one requires a rubber band or even a hair elastic would work. But you're going to put it right around those fingers, usually towards the top of the fingers, not the thumb. And then I'm pulling open that rubber band. So working a different set of muscles with this and aim for about 10 to 15 reps. Sticking with that rubber band around the fingers, this time include the thumb, you're going to make a little bit of a C shape, C for cookie, and then you're going to pull that apart. Right, so still hand in the fingers, but again, different muscles this time, so 10 to 15 reps. Sticking with that C shape, again for cookie, just obviously can't stop thinking about cookies today, you're going to make that C shape and you're going to clasp those hands together at about chest height. If that bothers your shoulder for any reason, you can go ahead and bring those arms down. But from here, I'm pulling in opposite directions. So this is an isometric contraction because I'm not actually moving, but I am applying a steady force here. The awesome thing about this one is that you get control of how much pressure you're applying, right? So you can be like the Hulk, or you can just keep it nice and gentle depending on where your body is, and 10 to 15 reps. This last one for the fingers is definitely the hardest, or hands. You're going to use a weight, and I would use a light weight. And if you really need a light weight, you could go ahead and even just use a soup can, which is 1 pound. You want to have that forearm resting right on your leg, or you could always rest it on a table. That works too. From here though, what we're trying to do is let that weight come down. Notice I'm uncurling my fingers, and we're going to, without dropping it hopefully, let that weight slowly come down to the fingers, and then we're curling it back up, really using the fingers. So this isn't really a wrist exercise, right? We're still working through that hand. Slow and controlled is the way to go with this one, 10 to 15 reps. With our arms still resting on our lap or on the table, you want that wrist off the edge, trying to keep, again, that forearm pretty flat. This one is a wrist exercise. And the key thing with this, we're gonna curl up, but then we're gonna very slowly, hopefully with control, come right back to the middle. You're not gonna go all the way down, just because that's usually too much stress when you're starting out. But again, key is that slower control to actually help not just strengthen, but lengthen the tendon. So this is a great one for golfer's elbow, if you've ever had that. You don't even have to golf to have that. So you're looking here for about 2 sets of 15. I'm holding a 3-pound weight. If this is too much, you can always start out even just doing the motion without weight. Working the opposite muscles, so same idea where we're gonna lift up and then it's back down to the middle, nice and slow. So like I said, opposite muscles, so this is more of that tennis elbow-y kind of stuff. And again, 2 sets of 15. Keep that keep that arm resting on that leg. If it was the other way, it would be really hard to do. And this time though, you're switching so that your grip is what we call a neutral grip. So the weight is going to be pointing up. Again, not that forearm moving, just that wrist comes down and then back to the middle. So I'm really trying to bring it down and back to the middle. And even though these are wrist motions, all these muscles are attaching up in the elbow, so they're really important for that forearm. And about 2 sets of 15 here. All right, last one with a weight, again, so that we get all of these muscles. Keeping that hand resting and in the same position as we started with. This time though, you're actually turning that whole arm. So you're gonna turn it so the palm's facing up, back to the middle, and then you can turn the other way. Notice one way is more difficult for me, right? We all probably have those things, but same idea here. This one you may want to start with 1 set of 15, just depending on how tired it feels. So by the time you get to the end, it should feel like, I worked a little bit, but it should not be painful. All right, with a towel, usually a hand towel, just kind of rolled up, we're combining a few things here. And again, this one I tend to find really good for tennis elbow. So if you squeeze into that towel, holding that arm up this time. Now we're even working the bicep a little bit, right, which attaches down there. And we're gonna add that rotation. So I'm keeping my wrist neutral, right? I'm not letting it bend as I'm rotating my forearm, but it's squeeze, rotate, come back, let go. And again, probably starting with about 1 set of 15. We've got one more little bonus towel one. So the thicker the towel is, the harder this will be. So just keep that in mind. Again, this time you're actually gonna bring those arms out straight. We're incorporating the shoulder a little too. So I'm squeezing into that towel, and then I'm gonna pull one wrist back, come back to the middle, and then pull the other one back. So you do wanna have, I should get this a little tighter, you do wanna have that towel have some tension in it as you're going, so that I'm kind of pulling against some of that resistance. And you can even go the other way if it feels like it feels good for your body. I truly want to be able to help as many people as I possibly can, but with the number of questions that I get every day, it's definitely difficult to answer in a timely manner, if at all. And that's why I created my membership, so that I can offer personalized guidance and support when you need it. So check out my membership options.